What's up, guys? Oh, I forgot to record with my headphones again. Damn. Alright, got headphones on. Okay, so at first, I was gonna talk about supplies. Do they matter? Maybe I'll still talk about it. I don't know. Future video, I will. For this video, I'm gonna be talking about how to use references. Tips on using references. That's what we're gonna talk about. Tips on using references. Cool, let's get into the video then. Okay, the first thing I'm going to say real quickly is don't be ashamed to use references. That's my biggest tip with using them. I still don't understand why there's this weird negative connotation with using references. They're there as tools for you to improve. So please, if you're trying to be a great artist, please do not feel ashamed of using references. Also, if you've been enjoying my content, please consider subscribing. We're at 500 now, guys. That's insane. Thank you guys for all the love and support. It's really overwhelming, but I love it. Thank you guys. So right now what I'm doing is blocking in the structure of the body with just some general shapes. I'm one of those artists that's always seen the torso area primarily like boxy, and I actually enjoy doing hard line shapes. I try avoid using very rounded shapes, but I do like adding those very sharp edges. They feel very well defined in my opinion. When looking at your reference, please don't be discouraged when looking at all these muscles. I try my best to remind people that form and gesture are way more important than detail. When you master gesture, your figures will always look more dynamic and more fluid, of course. And with form, I still need to make a video talking about form, but form really teaches you how to look at your object and break it down into 3D. And it also helps you with proportions, and a lot of us struggle with proportions, including myself from time to time. So I always think when those two things, form and gesture, are in very good synergy, you can make very basic figure studies like the ones that I'm doing right now. I'm gonna speed up the rest of this drawing because I just need to add a couple more shapes and a bit of detail. I want to move on to the next tip that I think is really fun to do when using a reference. Personally, I love doing little thumbnails or a little quick doodle of the reference I just made. Sometimes it's a little more fun drawing small. Even though you should be drawing bigger is always better because it's always easier to scale down. But for me, I don't know, I just really like playing around with the reference that I use and just maybe change up a little bit of the pose. And before I do that, I like to thumbnail it a little bit. I try to draw it small first, and then I'll be like, okay, that looks like a good idea of what I want to draw, and then I'll scale it up. Trust me, these little figures, they don't have to be masterpieces. They can just be stick figures like the one I'm doing right here. These can be a very fun little exercise and warm-up. And another tip that I really enjoy doing when studying from a reference is start questioning what if this arm, this body, this motion looked in this angle. This technique might be a little bit more advanced if you're not familiar with form and gesture like I had mentioned, but once you have a kind of good understanding, you can start playing around with the what if, and you can start playing around with your use of memory in your visual library. You start thinking, what if I change the angle a little bit? And you can kind of tell right away if something feels awkward, and that's good because that means your visual library is kicking in. So with me right now, this pose that I'm using, trying to create from imagination or memory or whatever, I thought to myself, what if he swung the axe a little bit down? And I had his leg raised up and then his arms a little bit more straight. I tried adding some dashes for motion, and to me I think this is probably one of the most fun things to do, and probably the best reference tip is just play around with that one reference. You don't have to draw a cajillion references. Sometimes it's cool just to study one reference, redraw that same pose a couple times, try to do it without the reference, maybe even potentially wait a whole day and then try drawing that reference again from your imagination or memory. But what's really fun is when you make it your own and you start, like I said, questioning what if I just do this instead with that same kind of pose in mind. Another fun tip that I think a lot of artists do when using a reference is trying to simplify it or exaggerate it. Sometimes artists like to maybe bulk up that character reference that they're using. They make them more muscular, more leaner. And I think that's fun too. It's fun to play around with their body proportions. But I do think that kind of becomes a little bit more of an intermediate level and less than a beginner level. Or maybe I'm wrong and maybe it just clicks to you. Again, I think all these tips are just generalized, and I think they're more of my opinions. Maybe they can be helpful. Like I mentioned before, I'm not a teacher, and you should definitely challenge the things I tell you guys. This is just me trying to help people out from my own personal experiences. Everyone goes through a whole different art journey, but we do have parallels crossing each other's paths. And I think that's what's beautiful, because one piece of information definitely won't work for you, but wow, that other guy's information is like, oof, it like makes sense to you. So yeah, I hope that these like little tips helped you out. So in conclusion, pretty much, when using a reference, study its form, you can study its gesture, don't be afraid to use references, make little thumbnails, they're really fun to do, and most importantly, try challenging it. Do it what if I do this and what if I do that. I think it's very fun to do a what if, and play around with the proportions, maybe exaggerate the muscles or the features. And if you found any of these tips useful, please leave a like and comment, and let me know what was your favorite tip that helped you out, or you were like, oh yeah, I knew that already. I'm gonna let the rest of this video play out in time lapse. Thank you guys again for watching my videos. I've been having a lot of fun making these. I think the next one we'll talk about art supplies, whether they matter or not. But yeah, I hope you guys have a wonderful day or wonderful night wherever you are in the world. Alright guys, see you in the next video. Bye guys, love you guys, and keep on drawing at your own pace. Man, I need to get better at making transitions and talking and editing, everything pretty much. Yeah, we're figuring this out, right, guys? Yeah. All right. Oh, also, if you guys enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing and giving this video a like and comment and all that cool jazz. All right. Also, thank you guys for we reached 500, and thank you for like watching my last video. It like got 200 views, and I'm like, holy crap, that's a lot. That's a lot of views for me. Yeah, thank you guys for that, and all the positive feedback is really, feels good, you know. Yeah, let's get to the video now.
ただいま。おかえりなさい。